Door knocking is one of the less savory aspects of TV news. That's when a reporter reaches out to someone touched by tragedy, asking for comment. While many people are willing to talk, others are not. And an incident in Providence this week shows what can happen when sensitivity is lacking.
Live from Providence.
The assignment was straightforward. Providence TV reporter Abby Nizgoda approached the mother of a shooting victim.
A 16-year-old has turned himself in.
But mother Melissa Lawrence clearly had no interest in talking.
How do you feel about that?
A simple question, and this is the response we get.
Are you going to throw rocks?
Well, Abby, there's your comment. Most reporters would have backed off. Instead, the confrontation escalates and the camera continues to roll.
Why are you attacking us, ma'am?
Get away from me!
Then she sicks her 2 dogs on us.
Ow!
Get away from my arm!
One bites my forearm. Then I take off running.
Both Nizgoda and her videographer escape without significant injury. But now ABC 6 has a hot story on its hands.
2 ABC 6 journalists attacked by vicious dogs while covering a story, and tonight, that dog's owner under arrest.
And ABC 6 was sure to follow Lawrence to court, where she pled not guilty to assault charges.
Boy, oh boy, this has been the talk of Providence for almost 24 hours now.
Yes, and I can see why.
First of all, I want to reiterate she had every right to be there. It's one of the uncomfortable jobs of journalism. I'm sure you've had to do it before. But when the woman said, I have no comment or I don't want to talk to you, get away, that's exactly what she should have done, unless she had approached her in a different kind of way and she thought there was some chance that she was going to speak. I mean, this thing has a whole lot of elements to it, a very uncomfortable sense of sort of, a racial profiling, stereotyping with this woman and, sort of playing on that. And then, the whole thing with the dogs, and then making the story all about her. So she got off the track. I would have used the video too. I want to make that clear. But she turned the story into, a woe is me story, as opposed to, this is what can happen, by the way, when you go door knocking. But I felt like the reporter aggravated the situation.
I'm not sure I get the racial profiling angle, but I'm sure you can educate.
Not profiling, stereotyping. It's almost like she played on, I don't know, it was uncomfortable.
I mean, idiots come in all colors. I know. And this, the woman who threw a rock and sicked her dogs on the woman was a violent idiot. I hope police officers who often think that the media is antagonistic toward them understand that we have something very much in common. We often have to interact with violent idiots, so we relate to what they go through. Perhaps the reporter could have handled it better. I guess she's relatively young. But this is what you're called on to do. And, I'm not sure what the alternative was other than to try to get comment. And probably the only thing I would criticize her for if I were her news director is throwing down the microphone as she was retreating. That's a several $1,000 piece of equipment.
I had several reactions. I mean, first of all, you said right to be there. I would not say she had a right to be there. It's her job to go and try to get an answer. And she has a right to be on public property.
She was, yeah.
Okay, but when she starts creeping up to the fence, that's the woman's property then.
She never left public property, though.
All right. I don't know. It looked kind of close to me where the fence was. But all right, well, let's just not split hairs there. She clearly, to me, just was a lack of experienced person. All of us here who've done this a lot, you have a sense of when the line is. You also know how to approach somebody who, by the way, had just had her daughter shot in the back. This is what the woman was trying to get her to respond to. So I don't know what happened before. How many people had been to that woman's house that day saying, can you talk to me, please, 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 whatever. You got to know how to interact with somebody. And you particularly, if you're coming from a place of privilege, which is where I think you were trying to go, Emily, with the privileged race thing happening there, it's more important. And this is coming from somebody who's done this, so I know what the job is we all do. But that was I thought she just did a poor job of handling that situation.
Well, I agree with everything that John and Callie is saying. I would just add that I was extremely uncomfortable with the station's treatment of the video as, oh, look at this hot video we've got.
Exactly.
Let's make it our top story and show it over and over. I mean, I was just really uncomfortable with that. This mother acted, as John says, as a violent idiot, but nevertheless, she and her daughter were the victims of a terrible crime. Right. And look what happened.
Fair point.
Yeah, the reporter definitely should have taken off, and the mother said she didn't want to talk, and she throws the rock. I think it's time to leave. Yeah. But just in defense of the door knocking, which I think a lot of people think that this is this horrible media, oftentimes you create a much better story. Instead of just being the daughter who was shot in the back, you find out, was she on the track team in her high school? Was she aspiring to run track, and now she can't? Because you paint a picture of a crime victim that becomes more than just a crime victim. And oftentimes I felt very proud of being able to just have a beautiful picture of the person that's either injured. And I think people in the public don't realize you can only get those stories when you interview the family.
And oftentimes people want to talk. You need to say that.
They absolutely do.
You want to say that.
Clearly, this woman did not.
Right.